Hello everyone. I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing and commenting. I really appreciate the support. And in this one I wanted to speak to you about INFJs and Tinder, or dating apps in general. Recently an ENFP that I coached about his INFJ relationship asked me this question, and I thought it was a really good question because I think I have a Tinder account and an OkCupid account from years ago, I'm pretty sure. But I haven't logged in ages. And in fact, when he started talking about Tinder, I was like, oh, let me see what's going on. And I logged back in and I saw it and I was like, oh my God, this is such a pain to use, and it's such a pain to use dating apps, and all of those feelings came rising up again that I always feel. So I always download them because in a moment of courage or excitement, I'll be like, oh yes, let's do it, let's go dating. And so I'll download it and then I'll kind of swipe a couple of times and then I'll get bored or like distracted by my projects, and then a week or two passes by, I haven't done anything with it, and then I'll be like, oh well, I guess this is not for me, and I'll delete it. And I've done this maybe at least 5 or 6 times already. So, obviously this individual is asking me, how do INFJs deal with Tinder or dating apps? And I think I've done another video on this, how we are absolutely not that good at dating in general, but also not good at dating apps at all. Because for me, every relationship that I've at least had, they've all just been very organic. I haven't actually gone searching for them. I haven't actually been like, all right, let's go on a date and then do the whole formal bit of it. It was very organic. It was either a friend of a friend, and we met up at a party where there was a bunch of other people, and then we had a conversation, and then nothing happened then, but then a couple of weeks again, we hung out again, and then over and over again until 6 months later, we were like, what, actually, I really like you, and then we started actually thinking about being in a relationship, or even starting the process of it, going on dates again or something like that. So that's how it's happened for me every single time. And I think that's how it happens for a lot of INFJs, is that we're not really good at these formal things where it just puts too much pressure on us, especially because the things that we want to speak about, like have conversations about, it's not going to be like, oh, so what do you do for a living? And yeah, how do you spend your days? And what are your hobbies? It seems like such a superficial and a terrible way to get to know someone, because that's not really what we care about. We don't want to know what your hobbies are. We want to know what your passions are. We want to know what you think about death. We want to know how you want to make an impact on the planet. We want to know what you think about religion or spirituality. We want to know what you think about God and if you have a relationship with them. So for me, a lot of times when I try to get deep into these conversations right away, it's a little bit difficult because the people sometimes on these dating apps, they don't actually want to go into it right away. They actually want to go through the process. It's fun for them. They want to ask these superficial questions, which is fine. This is how the world works. But for us, it seems like, can I just skip this step? Can I just get over this whole nonsense and go right to the next step, which is getting to know the essence of you, getting to know the deep, deep, deep essence of you, like the real deep stuff. So I don't know how it is for other types. I haven't had this conversation with other people. But I know many people are very serious about this whole dating business. They'll go on there and they'll make sure that they swipe every day, and they'll sit and do this thing, and they'll talk to people, they'll exchange messages, and they'll do Zoom calls, they'll meet up face to face, they'll do all of that stuff as a very regular, nonchalant thing, which is a part of their life, and they're happy about it and they're excited about it, and it gives them joy. Whereas on the other hand, INFJs are looking at this whole thing thinking, oh my God, what a pain. Like, oh my God, what a bore. Oh my God, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do this to meet people? Why can't it just be organic? Why can't it just be that I'm sitting in the library somewhere reading a book or in a cafe, and someone comes up to me and says, oh, I love this book. Can we have a conversation about it? And I'll be like, yes, let's do it. Unless I'm sitting in my cave, then no. But if I was in my cave, I'd be in my room. But why can't it just happen that way? Some of the best friendships, even not even just relationships, but friendships as well, that I've formed have happened because of that. Because I was sitting in a cafe in Chiang Mai or in Toronto, and I was reading a book, or I was doing something, and the person was like, oh, I really love that book, or that's really interesting, what are you doing? And that kind of sparked a relationship and a conversation or a friendship that is stronger and stands the test of time, rather than something that happens, for me at least, on Tinder. But of course, this might just be my prejudice. I am filled with prejudices and judgments, loads of them. As an INFJ, you know that about you. So it's not necessarily that it doesn't work for us, it's that we don't make it work. I know I don't make it work. I know that I'm lazy about it. I know that I'm like, all right, fine. I'm fine not in a relationship. I'm fine without someone around me. I'm fine without a partner. So why bother, right? So for us, we get lazy about these kind of things. We're not ever lazy about our passions. We're not ever lazy about our projects. We're not ever lazy about anything that really interests us. But for some reason, dating and relationships are not on that list. They're not even a priority. Like, they're not even on the list, I would say, for me, which is a problem because that means that I end up being single a lot more than I'm in a relationship. Also because I think casual conversations that are just sparked off like that don't really happen unless you go out. And I guess in the pandemic situation, it's a little bit harder. And also being an introvert and INFJ, I don't go out that much. I'm mostly doing my work. And so of course that's not going to happen if I'm just sitting in my room. So I mean, I get it. And the universe is obviously trying to tell me, okay, you know, if you want to be in a relationship or if you want even friendships, other friendships, then you're going to have to put a little bit of effort into it. And unfortunately, INFJs don't want to do that. We just want it to be given to us because we imagine that, for me, a lot of my other relationships, all of my other relationships, every relationship I've had, it kind of just fell into my lap, kind of. Like, it was like, oh, I met a friend through a friend and he seemed really nice, or we were at a party and we had a conversation and it was okay, and then we moved on from there. So it was just basically like the universe just kind of plopped it into my vicinity, and it just happened. And so just the idea of putting effort into it, the idea of kind of formalizing the whole situation and talking to people and doing all that stuff, oh my God, just the thought of it kind of gives me heart palpitations. So we don't necessarily do it as a regular practice. And it's funny because I think the person was asking, you know, I think the girl that I like, the INFJ that I like, she's on Tinder. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, her profile might be on Tinder, but it doesn't necessarily mean that she's ever even looked at it in the last few weeks or in a few months. You know, my profile is on Tinder. So if someone found me on there, they'd be like, yeah, cool, you're on there. But have I gone on it in the last 6 months? In the last year? In the last 2 years? I don't even know the last time I was on there. Maybe a year and a half, 2 years? I have no idea. So really, that's not the point, right? It's on my phone. The notifications are off, so I have no idea what's going on. People might be liking me or not liking me. But it's on there. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. It means nothing. It means completely nothing because it's just an app. It means nothing to us. And it's not those relationships that we would form on there until they get to be something serious and really deep, they mean nothing to us, right? INFJs in general like to form relationships in the real world, even though we spend a lot of time in our imaginary world. When we're forming relationships, we want to form them in the real world. We don't want to go on an app and then do all that stuff and pretend like we're forming a relationship there that might even work out in the future. I have never, ever, ever formed a relationship from someone that I met on a dating app, ever. Now again, it might be because I'm just lazy, or it might be just because I'm not good at it. It could be both of them. Probably is both of them. But for me, I do notice, and for a lot of INFJs, I do notice that a lot of our relationships just do happen organically. And because if they don't happen organically, we don't bother. That's why we spend a lot of time being single. Of course, that means the lesson here is please spend more effort or put more effort into these dating apps because the world is kind of moving in that direction. But it's difficult for us. We don't actually care about it. We have other projects. We get distracted. We're thinking about other things. Swiping on a few pictures doesn't seem like the best way to choose a mate or choose a partner or choose a relationship. I don't really care that much about what he looks like. I don't really care about what he does for a living. I don't really care about all those things. I want to know something else. But of course, it's a little bit difficult in these superficial dating apps. But of course, the point is that you spend some time with them, you message them, you have a back and forth, and then eventually you find out if you are interested. But all of that seems like, why can't we just why can't we skip all of this stuff and just go right to the meat of it? You know, why can't we just go deep right away? Why not? You know, maybe it's possible. Maybe I just haven't tried, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It's probably just me. So I just wanted to do this video because I wanted to share some thoughts about these apps, and also to share my viewpoint on it and answering the question, hopefully. Hopefully this answers the question of the person that asked it. It really is a very complicated question, because maybe I'm just one random INFJ who thinks this way, or just the people around me think this way, and that's why we're attracted to each other. Maybe there are some INFJs who are great at this dating stuff. Probably the younger ones are probably really good at it. But for me particularly, I find that I just cannot relate to it. I'm trying with it. I'm going to try harder, but it's a little bit difficult. If you have questions about this or about anything else, please contact me by commenting below, or obviously messaging me, and I shall do a follow-up video. And again, I'm so grateful that you're all listening, subscribing, and commenting. I shall see you the next time around. Bye for now.